Today we're going to talk about 1911s. And the main thing we're going to talk about 1911s is how to take one of these guys apart. So 1911s, for a lot of people when they purchase them brand new, is possibly their first gun. It seems to be a difficult gun to disassemble and reassemble. So we're just going to go over how to take it apart real quick and show you how it's done. This is a Kimber stainless target. This is a brand new one from Kimber. This is their long slide, so instead of having a 5-inch gun, this is actually a 6-inch gun from the factory. So the slide is significantly longer than the standard guns you're going to see from most manufacturers. So as far as disassembly goes on this, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the magazine out. On every time you take a gun apart, the first thing you want to do is take the mag out and verify that the gun is clear. So we're going to rack this open, lock it to the rear. We're looking inside the gun and we're looking into the barrel. And then we're going to rack the slide a couple times just to verify there's nothing in the gun. So we're never going to disassemble a gun if there's ammunition in the gun or anywhere near the gun. So our mag's been removed. We know the gun is clear. First thing we're going to do is everybody, and here's the other thing with this, everybody does this a little bit different. There's some people that follow this is not the exact way you have to do it. Everybody is going to have a different opinion on it as far as the steps that go into it. The way that I disassemble a 1911 is once I'm sure the gun is clear, the first thing I do is with the hammer locked back, I engage my safety. So I take that safety on the right hand side, or it's actually the left hand side, but I engage that safety, okay, and now I'm going to set the gun on the bench. Gun's empty, safety's engaged, and the hammer is back. If you go into your box, depending on what pistol you bought, most pistols are going to come with a takedown tool. So we go and we sort through all the stuff here. This is our takedown tool. A lot of times people just kind of pass over this because it just looks like a piece of plastic. It's actually a very useful tool. It's got the little clip on it so you can put it on your keychain if you're going to the range or keep it in your range bag. This is our takedown tool. So with our takedown tool, we're going to be depressing this little spring right here. This spring gets depressed and then this barrel bushing gets rotated, and that's what allows us to pull the recoil spring and all the good stuff out of the gun for disassembly. Now when we go to disassemble all this, it's very possible for this spring to come flying out and hit your ceiling. There's actually marks on some of these ceilings from recoil springs flying through the air and making a dent in drywall. So always wear safety glasses. Got our safety glasses. So now at this point we're going to take our tool here, and you'll see that the little hook on it looks just like a barrel bushing. We're going to put our tool over the top. We're going to rotate counterclockwise. At that point, as I release the tool, I still have pressure on it, and I'm catching the recoil spring. So there's our recoil. There's our bushing. We take that out, and our recoil spring's underneath. So we're going to slide our recoil spring out, and then from there we're going to take actually you can do it with your hand, but we're going to rotate this back to the other side. It will stop. So the barrel bushing will go all the way like 90 degrees this way, but only come back about 45 that way. So at 45, that's where we're actually going to pull it out. So we'll pull the barrel bushing out, that 45-degree slot. Now we have our recoil spring out, our bushing out, and our recoil spring, I'm not sure what this is actually called, but this out, and our barrel bushing out. From there, we're going to turn the gun to the opposite side. We're going to disengage our safety, and we're going to pull the slide back. Now you have two notches on your slide here. This first larger notch is what the slide stop catches on when you hit slide lock or are manually locking the gun to the rear. There's a second little notch that's like a little half moon. That's the point we're going to be hitting for disassembly. And basically what we're going to do is this slide stop here is actually going to be pulled out of the side of the gun from that notch. So if we turn the gun back to this side, you can see there's the little button right there. So we pull this back, and we're going to line it up with that little notch right there. So from there, with my left hand, I'm putting a little pressure onto the button there, and it's going to slide right out nice and easily. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind is this slide stop on the underside has a little, basically a little burr that if you slip, you can get a scratch on either the top of the gun or the bottom of the gun. So you pull this out gently, remove that. At this point, we're going to slide forward again. And we're disassembled. So there's our frame, and here's our slide. So from the slide, we can then the barrel just on most guns the barrel will lift out from the back. On the 1911, the barrel slides right out the front, just like that. So there's our disassembled slide and all of our parts. So that is disassembly of the 1911. Now, as far as reassembly goes, we're going to take our slide into our barrel, slide these in, just like that. It'll, once you hit the wall back there, it'll stop. This little thing here is what catches our spring on the back end, so we're going to drop that in. And then we take our recoil spring, and we slide our recoil spring in, like so. Now we're going to, I usually do this on the side this way. Some people do it on top, other people do it upside down. I do it on the side. We're going to slide this on nice and gently because we don't want anything to really come jarred loose. And we're going to go back to that point that we disassembled at. Now, on the barrel you saw there was that little hook. That hook is what this bar goes through. So you can just kind of wiggle it, and now it's lined up. So at this point we'll take our slide stop, insert that into the gun. Same thing, this is that point where you need to be very careful you don't scratch the gun, because you have this little spring here is what engages pressure onto the safety. You're fighting to get past that spring when you reinstall this. So I'll line it up right just about over top of the spring, and then I'm pushing straight in. If you push straight in, then you're not going to get that scratch. A lot of people will go down a little bit below it, push in, slide up. Well, that pushing in and sliding up is what scratches the gun. Now that that's back in place, we're going to push the slide forward again and re-engage our safety, because our safety then prevents the slide from coming back. Alright, so now we have our recoil spring in. The way that I do this is I take my barrel bushing and I put it in at that 45-degree mark. And then you kind of have to fight the spring a little bit, but you rotate that barrel bushing around to the other side. And then from there, we'll take our recoil spring plug, push that in, turn the barrel bushing back, and it'll click into place. So you can take your tool, and you'll kind of feel it click into place right there. This is take our safety off, back the slide, lock it to the rear, check our trigger, and it's reassembled. So that is how I personally take apart a 1911. There are different ways you can do it. There's people that do it in a different pattern, or some people use the takedown tool when they're putting it back together. I just find it easier not to. So that's how I do it. If you have any questions or any other guns that you're having trouble disassembling or putting back together, definitely let us know in the comment section, and we will, if we have them available, we'll take them apart and put them back together and show you on video how to do it. Thanks for watching the video today. Please like it, share, and subscribe. Thanks.